Hey, what's going on guys, Conman here. Today I wanted to talk about Void Bastards, which is a fully developed game on Steam, Switch, as well as Xbox Live Gamepass. For those who haven't checked it out yet, Void Bastards is an FPS roguelike in which you travel to a number of different prefabricated ships in a randomized FTL-style post-mission map to gather loot and resources like ammo, food, and fuel. After traveling, but before arriving on board, you're able to modify your loadouts so as to bring the equipment best suited for the job. Your goal is to craft action items from the loot you find, which coincides with a robust crafting-based progression system. Speaking of progression, there are a number of different weapons, equipment, and unlocks that each have their own unique number of upgrades and functionality. Because of varied enemy types, you will often find that a few weapons will be best to use in certain situations. In some cases, for example, splash damage may be the way to go if there are many small enemies or just a high number of enemies in general. In other cases, you may want to use weapons that have a high damage output, such as my personal favorite, the staple shotgun. And of course, there are also security elements which can be stunned or disabled through other means. So depending on the type of ship and modifiers present, you may want to take something like a zapper or a rifter. Unlike other roguelikes, progression continues regardless of whether or not your player, or as the game calls it, client, dies. You do, however, lose any genetic traits that client may have had, as well as all resources you gathered during your current run. I found that taking a risk to try and fight through a very difficult ship, if it means the possibility of getting some high-valued action item loot, is often worth it, but only when done sparingly. This is because as you progress your way through space, more difficult ships will appear alongside higher valued loot. So if you are able to survive as long as you can so that you can work towards unlocking everything that there is. And do keep in mind that these action items are separate from resources, and so you will not lose these action items when you die, unlike ammo, food, and fuel. If Void Bastards does anything well, it's in the immersion of the game. The voice acting, the unique look and feel of each ship, the comic book style cutscenes, and the hilarious names they give the loot and enemies really make this game enjoyable to experience, especially during the first few hours of gameplay. I personally really enjoy hearing the dialogue sequences that occur when you're spotted or are in combat, as the personalities that each enemy has can be really unique and quirky. That being said, some people do dislike the 2D appearance of enemies and certain design choices, so if you're in that camp, this game may not be for you, as I personally think that it's one of the main draws, very similar to something like Enter the Gungeon. One major downside is that the variety and quantity of content, once you visited each ship and obtained a majority of available upgrades in your first playthrough, can be lacking. Realistically, unless you're a really big fan of this game, I think most players will not necessarily do repeat playthroughs or things like the Iron Man playthroughs, because the environments and encounters are more or less the same each time once you've seen all the different variations and hazards there are. This is exacerbated by the linear objectives you have each time you hop on board, which is essentially to swipe loot and leave, sometimes with the need to turn on power or take out an invading band of pirates. The ship layouts are also static, which can be beneficial to veteran players who can optimize their runs, but does lead to stale gameplay over time. Because those downsides are quite large for some people, I would not personally recommend this game to everyone at its current price point of $30, except those that have done enough research to know that this is the kind of game that they would really enjoy. If you do happen to see it on sale, however, I think that most completionists that enjoy roguelikes could easily sink 15 to 20 hours into Void Bastards. If you get this game for free off of Gamepass, I think it should be an automatic download to at least try it out. That's how I originally picked up the game, and I actually enjoyed it so much that I also purchased it on Steam during the Steam Summer Sale. If you did enjoy this video, please let me know in the comments. If you're interested in seeing some more first impressions videos in the future, I cover a variety of indie games on this channel. My content ranges from tutorials to development news. Staying subscribed and hitting the bell will allow you to see when I post new content in the future. I would like to post some more content on Void Bastards, depending on the kinds of updates that come out. Hope you guys have a good one, and thank you for watching.
Good joke.